Mami, qué pena, pero linda, linda, tú eres una asesina. Se ve la manera que mira. Contigo tomo vitaminas. ¿Por qué? Porque tú eres muy mal para mí. Asesina, ella asesina. Asesina, ella asesina. Asesina, ella asesina. Siempre ella se viste lista para matar. Mira tan bella, mira cómo quema. Esa es su manera. Ella candela. Mira tan bella, cuidado ella quema. Ella candela, ella candela. Mira como ella como quema. Ella candela, ella candela, ella candela. Mira tan bella, ella candela, ella candela. I'm sorry that I did it to you, but you into these voodoo dolls.
Es martes por la noche. Tu programa de política e información social comienza ahora. It's Tuesday evening. Your award-winning political and information show. Listen to me starts now. Bueno, mi gente, bendecido que esté en todo el mundo el martes. It is Tuesday today, and we are on Tuesday. What's 2 days today? Are we on the 3rd? The 6th, right? We're on the 6th. March 6th. We don't even know what Tuesday it is. We know it's a Tuesday, but we didn't know what Tuesday. But anyway, it's March 6th. Es marzo 6 del año 2018. February has gone. Winter's about to finish. Spring is upon us. Y hay muchas cosas que tenemos que hablar. There's a lot of things that we have to talk to, so I'm going to go right into my monologue. First of all, the Democrats are drowning so much in their hypocrisy. Los demócratas se están hundiendo tanto en su hipocresía que ellos saben que no van a poder derrotar al presidente Trump en unas elecciones fidedignas. They understand that they will not be able to take President Trump, head on in general elections. So what they're doing is they're trying to create their own Tea Party movement, or version of a Tea Party movement, but a little bit more violent. Let me explain. Midterms are not a very important election cycle within the United States. It has generally low participation. Hint, hint, hint. Puerto Rican caucus, 23%. Well, now these elections, there's lower participation. Some places even 17%, and other places even 20% voter participation. Out of the 100% of the voters registered, 20 to 19% will participate in these midterm elections. En las elecciones de medio término, en otras palabras, cada 2 años hay elecciones que no son las principales. 2 years, the elections are not the general elections. Lo que pasa es que la participación de los electores es mínima. Son mínimas, un 15, 20%. Los demócratas quieren tratar de aplicar esa a su ventaja para tratar de elegir personas a puestos congresionales, sillas congresionales. They want to use this to be able to push people, Democrats, to beat incumbents in Republican or blue or red states, turn those states from red to blue. Well, uno de los estados que está siendo atacado fuertemente por los demócratas es Texas, un estado que es altamente hispano. One of the states that they're trying to attack is Texas, a red state that has a lot of Hispanic voters. Operatives are being paid anywhere between $40 an hour to $150 an hour, depending on what precincts, en qué estado, en qué parte del estado. Algunos de estos operativos están siendo pagados, demócratas han siendo pagados $40 hasta $150 la hora. In the first time in 25 years, por primera vez en 25 años, los 36 sillas, the 36 seats within the state and Senate in Texas are being challenged by a Democrat. Hay un demócrata corriendo en cada silla, Senado y Congreso. Primera vez en 25 años. What they really want to try and do, they want to try and get enough votes to be able to try and impeach President Trump, because they understand that they cannot do it in a general election. You could say what you say about President Trump. Usted puede decir lo que usted quiera decir del presidente Trump.
if they impeach him, we get Mike Pence, which is not a bad choice, but I don't think that is a reality. Porque el voto popular, the populist movement, el movimiento populista que está haciendo Trump, the populist movement that Trump is doing is too strong. Los medios liberales, los medios izquierdistas, los medios que no quieren que la agenda de Trump siga, the liberal media, we have to see it. We see it. We see the Rachel Maddows with her Sarah Palin wannabe meltdowns. We see the left, MSNBC, NBC, CNN, keep on pushing a Russian collusion that does not exist. Tú ves gente de los medios, Telemundo, Univision, NBC, CNN, estos tipos izquierdistas que quieren empujar una agenda que there is a chaos, there is a White House turmoil. Hay un tumulto en la Casa Blanca. Hay un toque de queda. Hay soldados corriendo por la Casa Blanca. Bueno, sí hubo soldados corriendo por la Casa Blanca porque lamentablemente una persona se pegó un tiro. Yes, there were Secret Service men running around the White House because unfortunately a person deprived himself of his life in front of the White House. But that is not the story here. And it's unfortunate for a person to lose their life. Pero no quiero poner algo chistoso o jocoso en esto, pero es que la idiosincrasia y la hipocresía, the way the liberal media is drowning in its own hypocritical self, es increíble. So ellos quieren tratar de ganar Texas para tratar de impeach o llevar a juicio al presidente Trump. Que si se diese, vamos a jugar con la bola política mágica. Let's play with a political crystal ball. Let's say for some reason Trump does something crazy and he does get impeached. We have Mike Pence. Not such a bad idea. He's a constitutionalist. He's a good man. He's the one.
Great option.
Yep. As Scotland, and we're hi Scotland. How you doing? But nosotros tenemos que ver las realidades de las cosas. We have to see the reality of things. Trump will not be impeached on a Russian collusion. I'm sorry. Something that Scotland told me about the Clinton impeachment, it wasn't because he had an extramarital affair with Monica Lewinsky. It was that he lied on the oath, and there was proof. And there was proof of it, and yet he didn't get impeached for the reason.
He got impeached in the House on Senate.
Exactly. So we can see how this goes, but there is no such thing as a Russian collusion, strong enough evidence to be able to impeach President Trump. Bueno. March 2nd, 1917, United States granted statutory citizenship to the people of Puerto Rico. So since 1917, we have been American citizens. Very funny thing here. All persons, this is 8 U.S. Code 1402. Persons born in the United States on or after April 11th, 1999. Wow. Las personas que nacieron en Puerto Rico después de abril 11 del 1999. 1899. I wonder if there's still people that are alive that see this or understand this or saw this happen. All persons born in Puerto Rico on or after April 18, 1999 and prior to January 13, 1941, subject to the jurisdiction of the United States, residing on January 13, 1941 in Puerto Rico or other territories over which the United States exercise rights of sovereignty, and not citizens of the United States under any other act, are declared to be citizens of the United States as of January 13, 1941. All persons born in Puerto Rico on or after January 13, 1941 are subject to the jurisdiction of the United States, are citizens of the United States at birth. Natural-born citizens. Citizens at birth. My mom was born in 1939. she falls on the second provision. She's so people born between 1899 and January 13th of 1941. She still falls into that provision. So under the sovereignty, she has more of a statutory citizenship than I have. Why? Because even though I was born and raised in Puerto Rico, in 1994, I came to Florida, and since 1994, I've had permanent residency in the states of Florida, Texas, and Chicago, Illinois. States of Chicago. So, can a Puerto Rican born be president of the United States? Well, it's funny. Ryan Riley of Rutgers, of the Huffman Post, spoke to two justices, Justice Anthony Kennedy and Stephen Breyer, and seemed to indicate that they would consider a U.S. citizen born in Puerto Rico natural born and eligible to run for president. Their comments were directed to Jose Serrano, Democrat from New York, because they were studying the possibilities of, they were doing the Supreme Court's budget, but during the House Appropriations Committee hearing, they talked about this. And we quote, "We're waiting for your case on the Puerto Rican presidency to come to us, but you also have to be 35 years old. You don't have met that requirement." Kennedy joked, "It's Article 2nd, Section 1. Well, I got that right here. Article 2, Section 1 of the Constitution of the United States imposes only 3 eligibility requirements on persons to serving as president based on the office holder's age, time of residency in the United States, and citizenship status. No person except a natural-born citizen or citizen of the United States at the time of the adoption of this Constitution shall be eligible to the office of the president. Neither shall any person be eligible to that office who shall not have attained to the age of 35 and been 14 years a resident within the United States." 14 years within a resident of the United States. So the fact that I raised this y porque yo estoy hablando de esto es que los demócratas dicen que los puertorriqueños no podemos ser presidentes de los Estados Unidos. It's false. Democrats and some Republicans, I have to say this, some ignorant Republicans say this, but they say this because they listen to their dino friends or rhino friends or whatever you want to call them. But it's false. We have evidence here that a person that was born in Puerto Rico that has residency within the United States can be president of the United States. They want to push the fear-mongering that's saying, hey, if you're born in Puerto Rico, you can't be president of the United States. Well, that's a thing in time for Puerto Ricans to understand. They have to make that choice. And they have to make that choice really quick. So, 100 plus years, we have this American citizenship. If we live in Puerto Rico, we can vote for the president. If an American born here in Florida goes to Puerto Rico, and after a year, he can't vote for the president of the United States. That's the quagmire that Puerto Rico is. Not only for Puerto Ricans born in the island, an American that goes over there and lives in Puerto Rico, after a year, cannot vote for the president of the United States. Something to ponder, something to understand. Talking about Puerto Rico, we had 2 governors visit Puerto Rico for Governor Rosselló's State of the State. The governor of New York, whom I do not want to mention, and Rick Scott, who's governor of Florida. And again, we have to kind of see why they are there. One didn't appear, one appeared. And we're very grateful for Rick Scott and his help to Puerto Rico. Don't get me wrong. Again, I physically saw OUC brigades in Puerto Rico, my hometown of Puerto Rico, when I went in Ponce, Puerto Rico, when I went there. Estoy muy agradecido del gobernador Rick Scott por lo que ha hecho para Puerto Rico, porque yo también viví en carne propia ver las brigadas de electricistas de Florida en mi pueblo de Ponce, Puerto Rico. But I have my ulterior motives to question Governor Scott. Again, 283,000 Puerto Ricans came to the United States. 200.
Come on, what is Spanish?
Huh?
That Come on, what are you Spanish?
Yeah.
Puerto Ricans.
Puerto Ricans. God bless my heritage.
I want to give a quick shout out to Randy Ross. Hi, Randy.
Hi, Randy. How you doing, brother? Hey, Randy, are you coming to my show again? We gotta work on that. We gotta come back to my show, man. I think it's time. We do have to see what Rick Scott will do for Puerto Ricans in Florida, because we are American citizens and we have our rights. And this is not said by myself. This is said by many political leaders, and even Governor Rosselló said that this was not a Republican problem. This was not a Democratic problem. This is an American problem dealing with American citizens in Puerto Rico, and also dealing with American citizens here in Florida. So we do want to understand what are the ulterior motives of Rick Scott going to Puerto Rico, to this a state of the state in Puerto Rico. That's kind of strange. It's state of the state of Puerto Rico, and Puerto Rico is not even a state. If that's not an oxymoron, if I ever heard it, it's the state of the territory, because it's a territory. It's not a state. The Commonwealth could be a state. We're gonna make that distinction. Got to make our decisions. But Governor Rosselló has decided that he's going to sell the electrical authority. He's going to try to create more private coalitions to be able to help Puerto Rico come out of its current state. But never in that state of the state did he address the sitting down of the Commission of Equality, which are 2 senators and 5 representatives to Congress. When are they going to be seated? ¿Cuándo va a sentar los 2 senadores y los 5 congresistas de la Comisión de Igualdad? 2 of them were there. 2 of them were there, right next to Mr. Rick Scott, Governor Scott, Carlos Romero Barceló y Pedro Rosselló. But there is no conversation. There is no conversation about sitting that commission. He introduced an energy reform bill outlining ideas for cutting taxes. He increased the pay of the police by $1,500 more a year. $1,500 a year. These men and women of the Puerto Rican Police Department are working in dire situations, getting shot at, getting cursed at, spit on, working with subpar equipment. And the governor wishes to applaud this like a 4th of July. $1,500 a year is a raise. I guess it's better than nothing. How he's going to finance it, that's another situation. How he's going to pay the extra hours, that's another situation. But that's another situation that all politicians have to deal with. But Puerto Rico's situation is $72 billion in debt. $100 million of damages because of Maria. And recently they got slapped by another environmental hit. Waves of almost 20 to 35 feet ripping through the coastlines in the north and northeast and going far inland as 17 miles inland. Some of these waves were stopped by the mountains, because if there were no mountains, it would have kept on going. Can you imagine Florida? That would be from Daytona all the way to Tampa. That's I don't know if God's telling us something, but hey, I think Puerto Rico gotta try and do something. Maria and Irma killed dozens of people and caused an estimated, not 100 million, $100 billion in damage. Billions with a B. 45% of its 3.5 million citizens in Puerto Rico live in poverty. They can't hold a decent job. They can't create a business. And Rosselló asked the federal government to stop treating Puerto Rico as a second-class U.S. citizens in terms of disaster relief. Mi gente, tenemos que dejarnos del ay bendito. En Puerto Rico. Me rimó. El ay bendito en Puerto Rico nos está matando. You criticize the politicians, yet you vote for them. You don't vote for people who could make and bring about a change. Ustedes tienen que elegir electores que puedan hacer un cambio.
That's
Because
funny.
there is.
I said that on Facebook. I said we vote for people who we think can win, not for people who should win.
We have to vote for people that could do a change, both in Puerto Rico, in Florida, and in all of the United States. So, I compel you as a communicator, como un comunicador, te he hecho un reto. Ciudadano, hombre, mujer, que tú eres capaz, que tú puedes. Levántate y echa a andar un camino. Yo no digo que tú vas a ser un político de la noche a la mañana. Yo no creo que tengas los millones de dólares como Donald Trump para poder ejercer una campaña. But if you do not try, somebody that was not a politician became president of the United States. Somebody that was not a politician can become governor of Puerto Rico. Somebody that was not a politician can become senator, congressman of the great state of Florida. And somebody that is not a politician could be senator and congressman of the great state of Puerto Rico if Puerto Ricans decide that they want and once and for all become a state. Y no estoy enfogonado, soy apasionado. I'm not mad, I'm just passionate. But the thing of it is that I'm sick and tired of Puerto Ricans complaining. And I say, cool it, Puerto Ricans. Just like Tito Puente would say, cool it, Puerto Ricans. Because we're hot-headed. But we like our life too simple. And we can't have our cake in icing. We have to work for it. We have to get la harina. We have to bend our lomo. And we have to do the mixture and put it in the oven and wait till it's baked, because you can't eat a half-baked cake because you're going to get diarrhea, and then you get the Pepto-Bismol, and there's no Pepto-Bismol being made in Puerto Rico. Gotta import it. That's my opening monologue. My name is Jay Rodriguez. We're here in the award-winning show Listen to Me. Scotland, how you doing? How you doing today? I missed you last week, but you were in Tallahassee getting some very important work. Also, you met some very good good sheriffs and law enforcement here in Florida, in our sovereign state of Florida. And my main question to you, Scotland, so we could start this part of the segment of the show. Is the gun issue dead? Has it been silent? What's been going on?
So, the bill that we were talking about, Senate Bill 7, I want to make sure I get it absolutely 100% correct. SB 7026. It passed the Senate. It's going to the House. The House discussed it all day, and tomorrow they are officially voting on it. Corkman said he believes it's going to pass. He said he'll vote no for it, but he believes there is a great chance the bill will pass. My problem with the bill is that, one, it's too long, and two, there are too many things in it that need to be separate bills. And unfortunately, the gun topic has not silenced, because on Twitter, they're still talking about it. Those stupid teenagers who make me want to punch them in the face are still talking about it.
She's passionate.
Yeah, she's passionate too.
No, I'm angry. I'm passionate and I'm angry.
All right.
But we give a mic to a naive teenager who has never taken a civics class before, and they think they know everything about politics and everything about government, and they've probably never spoken to a state representative until now. That's my beef with them separately. But it has not died down at all. They're still talking about it on Twitter. They're still talking about how our children are quote-unquote dying, and they're not shutting up about it. And they are putting a lot of stress on our state representatives and our senators, and they are putting the spotlight on them and really testing their character, and if they are a true conservative, or if they are a true constitutionalist, or if they're a true Democrat. So they're really putting the spotlight, they're really putting pressure on the 2018 election, where a lot of our state representatives are going for re-election. We do have the majority right now, and we have 76 Republicans in the House, and we're going to lose some of them, unfortunately. And I'm willing to vote some of them out if I voted yes for the bill, for the senators. But the gun issue is not going to shut up anytime soon. I give it maybe 6 more months, 7 more months, and it'll finally quiet down because the teenagers are going to graduate, they're going to go to college, they're probably going to get hooked on some drug, and they're going to shut up about it. That's my hope. But until then, they're still in high school. They still think they have a voice. They have millions of followers, and they're going to keep talking about it until something is done. Until, hopefully, we shoot this bill down. I don't think it's going to be shot down after looking at who supports it and who doesn't, but it's a really crappy bill to put it in short terms.
Well, it's a very lengthy bill because they filled it with other different types of again, I like
safety issues.
Safety issues. I think there's a lot of pork barrel kind of attached to it because each representative wants to try and get something passed in their own district.
Yeah.
So they attach dummy stuff, useless fat to be able to get it. And you said it's about 100 pages long, right?
Yes.
So they've made it
and 260 amendments to the bill. So the original bill that was put on the Senate floor is a completely different bill than it is now.
Yes, so basically, what again? And who's sponsoring these bills?
All Democrats.
All Democrats.
Yes.
So and there are Republicans that are
yes. So originally, the vote went from the Senate vote went, I think it was 20 to 18 on the Senate floor. There were a few Republicans that did vote for it. Actually, my friend, I'm on Facebook, so I can't search it. But it did get
some Republican votes.
It did get some Republican votes.
So, okay. Well, let's see. We're going to have to see who they are and hold them accountable in election time.
Yes.
Because the thing of it is that they're not constitutionalists and they're not pro Second Amendments.
No.
They're rhinos.
Yes.
But anyway, we'll get their names and probably try and bring them to the hot seat of Listen to Me and see if they dare come to our confines and answer our questions. But Scotland, one of the things that was adopted was raising the age. This is something that Governor Scott wanted. They wanted to raise the age limit from 18 to 21.
Yeah.
And they've banned bump stocks.
Which, how they're going about banning it is unconstitutional. But
it's gonna again. That's the state trying to do something that the federal government should do, right?
Well, the thing is, this is the problem. I don't have a problem. You want to ban bump stocks, fine, dandy, whatever. The problem is they're not grandfathering those who already have it. So basically, we're saying it's banned. Once it passes the House, it is banned. It is a third-degree felony for each one you own, and they're not allowing those to keep them. So basically, let's say I dyed my hair blonde. Let's say I dye it again blonder. And the Florida government decides, we're going to ban dyeing your hair blonde. Well, I dyed my hair blonde. Now I'm getting convicted of a third-degree felony because I dyed my hair blonde when it was legal, but when they passed it, now it's illegal. So what they're trying to do is they're trying to charge me for something that I did prior to it being illegal.
So
and that's what they're trying to do with bump stocks. And you can't do that.
So there's a legal constitutionality that may be seen
Yes.
by the Florida Supreme Court then, right?
And the only way that they could go about it, is one, grandfathering them in, or two, buying back each bump stock. Or giving an incentive, like we'll pay $20 more than you paid. Something like that. But even then, a lot of these pissed off conservatives, they're not going to hand them in.
They're not going to hand them in, yeah.
And what are you going to do, raid houses? We do have a Fourth Amendment. So, I have a problem with this bill for multiple reasons, and that is 100% one of them. And raising the age limit isn't going to do jack squat. I said this to Miguel's wife. I was like, so what law prevents a husband from beating his wife? What law? Give me a law that prevents someone from doing something. No law prevents anyone from doing anything. If someone wants to do it, nothing is going to prevent them from doing it besides being in jail. And even then, we look at the mafia people that run the mafia, they're still doing orders and they're in jail. So nothing prevents someone from doing anything. You raise the age limit to 21, they're still going to get guns. The age limit was raised for drinking to 21, yet there's still 16, 17, 18, 19, 20-year-olds who are drinking alcohol.
And some die of alcohol overdose. Yeah.
So, no matter what we do, no matter what laws we pass, nothing's going to be stopped. Nothing's going to be prevented. And we're really just harming the people who actually buy guns just to shoot them at a range. We're harming those and hurting those who follow the law. That's the issue about it. And no, raising the age limit isn't gonna do anything, because I'm pretty sure I know a good 10 people who would sell me a gun under the table and the government would never know.
Exactly. Because when there's a criminal element that wants to do a criminal act, there is no laws that could be able to prevent that commission. Everything that is done when the law enforcement comes to a place, the crime has already been committed. They have to try and solve the crime. So, again, in that bill, there is nothing that helps schools become safer other than arming the teachers, right? Yep. That's the Florida, that is the Democratic authored, sponsored law to be able to help avoid a catastrophe like what happened in the high school, right? Basically.
Yes, I do have a problem with the fact that they're only letting teachers be armed. I understand for high school, middle school, and elementary school, obviously the only people that should be armed are, workers and teachers, because most of the people that are in those schools are under 18. But for me personally, I think the only person that can protect me and keep me safe is one God, to my father, and then me. And what pisses me off is that, the campus carry got shot down in 2016 by the Senate. But now they're allowing certain teachers to get certain training to carry a gun. Well, then why not in college campuses you trust those who already have a concealed weapons permit to carry on college campuses? Those who are mature, responsible adults who already have the screening, who carry everywhere else. They shouldn't have to leave their gun at home to drive on campus. Mm-hmm. Because I know so many people in college campuses who still carry guns secretly because they're unsafe, and they are unsafe. Valencia College 3 months ago had an attempted rape, and we still haven't caught the person. And the teachers ran after them. The girl fought for her life, and I'm pretty sure if that was me and I had a gun, I would have put 2 bullets in his you-know-what. I wouldn't even killed him. I would have shot him where it really hurts.
Well, Scotland, we'll get back to that in a moment. It's 7:30 here. Son las 7:30 en tu programa que ha ganado los Sacro Imperio Awards. Todos los martes de 7 a 8 Eastern Standard Time. Para el mundo, cyber world, listen to me. We'll be right back with Miss Scotland Calhoun, and we'll keep on talking about the very, very hot topic about guns in Florida. Listen to me.
Alanas Fantasy te ofrece lo mejor en joyería de fantasía, bueno, bonito y barato. Llamar al 321-439-8218 para su cita privada. Te llevaremos a la tienda donde ti. Alanas Fantasy, lo mejor en joyería de fantasía. Llama hoy. Bohemia 2, marzo 16. Las puertas abren a las 8 p.m. y el show comienza a las 8:30. Entradas $15 en la puerta y por Eventbrite $10. Eventbrite.com. $10. En la puerta $15. Si quieres el buffet, son $13 adicionales en la puerta. No te lo pierdas, habrá música, comedia, artistas del patio y internacionales. No te lo pierdas en Café Mineiro, 8204 Crystal Clear Lane, Suite 1700, Orlando, Florida. Café Mineiro Brazilian Steakhouse en la 8204 Crystal Clear Lane. Bohemia 2, la extravagancia continúa.
March 6. It is Tuesday, and you're listening to the best radio and TV show in the world in cyberspace. Listen to me, a winner of the Sacro Imperio Awards for Best Talk Show. I'm your host, JJ Rodriguez, with a beautiful Scotland Calhoun here next to me, and we're passionate about what's going on in Florida because of the guns, because of the people that the Democrats that want to try and take our guns away. There are certain Republicans that are going along with it. Anyway, we have to, one of the things that we're going to be measuring in the next couple of shows is the constitutionality of how they're going to implement the bump stock banning. Because again, it's like you say, if you dyed your hair blonde before the law was passed, and now that the law is passed, they can't come and commit you for a crime that you have not committed when it was legal. There has to be some sort of an appeal or a provision. Well, okay, we'll let you give them in, like you said. We'll give you $20 over the bump stock, but there are going to be people who's not going to give it to you because they bought it legally before the law was passed. My only concern is that this is going to be tangled up in the superior courts of Florida, or even going to go all the way up to the Supreme Court, and we will have to see the outcome of that. Another thing could be is that there could be a ballot. One of the lawmakers may want to place this into a ballot and let the voters of Florida vote about it. But again, it's still a sticky issue, and I don't think the situation of making schools safer has been addressed, because my main concern is we don't want people coming in with guns to any campuses, be it high school, be it college, be it middle school, elementary, any type of school, to try and commit the atrocities that these kids had to endure, because these are institutions of higher learning. They have to go there to learn, and they can't be there freaking out, being scared that somebody's going to be wanting to shoot them, that they're hurt, that they're going to be hurt, that they're going to be killed. That is my main concern. Scotland, you hit a very good a nail there. Why do liberals have to go towards law-abiding citizens and try to take the rights away? Again, it's trying to hamper the rights of the citizens to own their weapons and own their ammunition, and to be able to go to a shooting range, to be able to hunt, to be able to protect themselves. Because again, many people wanna say, oh, guns are bad, this and that. Look, why is there bad people? Why are there burglaries? Why are there robberies? Why are there rapes? Like you said, they tried to rape a girl in UCF. They still haven't caught the guy.
Yeah, I have to disagree with you on the point of, kids should always stay in fear. I know that sounds bad, but when this country was first founded, kids were fearful every day when they were learning in their house. If the redcoats are coming and they're going to get killed and their parents are going to be killed, we have raised a generation, I'm not going to say the word, but we have raised a generation of cowards and weaklings. And unfortunately, whenever something bad happens, they cry, they want to tear down that building because these kids are distraught, yet half of them didn't even see the blood. They didn't even see the bodies. So we're spending millions of dollars on taxpayer money tearing down and rebuilding a building because a couple kids are freaking out. And they're triggered. And to me, I hate this generation. I hate the generation we're creating. I hate the atmosphere we're creating, because God forbid there is a huge war where we have to draft all of these weaklings. We're going to be screwed. We're going to be screwed. And we're babying them. We're coddling them. We're saying, oh, well because you experienced a shooting, even though you weren't even really there, or you didn't even see a dead body. We're gonna spend millions of dollars to make you feel better. And in reality, they need to get over it. I know that sounds horrible. I
no, but it's a pinpoint of the reality, Scotland. Because the thing of it is that yes, we've pandered to these young ones, and we've created a society that social media is 10 times more important, or Tinder. They find their next date through Tinder, okay?
These are the same kids that during the shooting, they were Snapchatting people's dead bodies.
Yeah.
They're so triggered, they're so distraught, yet they weren't distraught enough to Snapchat people's dead bodies. Like, come on now. You can't look at me with a straight face and say you're distraught and you need these gun reforms and you can't go back to school. Like, they just said that these students they didn't have to take a test today because they're so distraught. Yet you're the ones who was Snapchatting about it and tweeting about it. It's pathetic. And I'm tired of it. Again, I'll say it again. It makes David Hogg, I don't even know how to say his last name. He makes me want to punch him in the face. Emma Gonzalez makes me want to punch her bald head in the face. It pisses me off. Miguel. It's not the bald head part. But it's the part that we're one of the only countries where we're babying our students. And, we keep going back to, I don't agree that video games is the root of why we have mass shootings.
No,
I think when I was playing Halo with my dad, and I would be shooting other people fictitiously. Cool. The thing is, I saw myself getting angrier. My mom saw it. My mom was like, Scotland, your cursing is kind of getting bad. And I saw myself like lashing out worse. Now, did it make me want to kill a whole bunch of people in real life? But, you know, when people have mental illnesses, they replace that with reality. And I was talking in English class about how children and teenagers, they replace reality with their imagination and their version of the real world. And when you have someone with a mental illness who plays these games and doesn't realize the difference between reality and a fictitious world, you're gonna have that confusion. And I'm not saying he's confused. I'm waiting for due process to happen and for the facts to come out.
Yeah.
But the thing is, someone explain to me why there wasn't mass shootings in the early 1900s. Please explain that to me. Someone explain that to me with logical reason. Because why is it now in the last 30, 40 years we're having all these mass shootings?
Well, there were murders reported.
Murders, but not school shootings and coming out and killing 50, 60 people. There wasn't any of that. There was like, even the Boston Massacre killed like 3 people. It wasn't even a massacre. If you really look at history, 3 people died. So, we need to stop babying these people.
So, we have to be a little bit stricter on how we again, a person comes into a school. This is the issue. A person who is not authorized to come into the school.
Well, he was authorized. They said he can come on campus as long as he brings a clear Ziploc bag. He was welcomed back on campus. The principal and all of the faculty said, you're welcome to come back on campus as long as you bring a clear plastic bag, Ziploc baggie, so we can see what you're carrying.
And he came up
and
with
he went on campus multiple times prior to that. Yeah, so he was welcome back on campus.
So he was testing the system to well, see, again, that's premeditated. You test the system and you see the weaknesses and then you exploit it. That is malicious intent.
Well, no, because I went to University High School and I didn't really have any ulterior motives, but I realized it's not that hard to do a mass shooting in a high school in Orange County. It's really not. You bring a duffel bag because you're an athlete. He was an ROTC. You bring a duffel bag because, you know, you're an athlete. I brought duffel bags multiple times. And you shoot up a school. And it's not that hard. I've had conversations with multiple people where the high school campuses, especially in Orange County, they're open campuses. People come and go. You know the system because I used to know how to check out early and skip class. And the security would never question me. They would be looking at their phones and be like, okay, bye. The gate was wide open. I knew when the security officers were going to check the student parking lot, if they were going to give me a fine or not. I knew all of it. I knew that the doors were open all the time. I knew that there was no one monitoring the gates or the locker room doors. So it's not that hard, especially if you were a student there for a year.
So he knew the ins and outs.
Because he was a student. Anyone who wasn't a student probably wouldn't know that, or faculty. They wouldn't know that. They would have to plan it out like, okay, I need to scout it out. But being a student out of school, you really learn a lot from being a student. And he was a teenager. He probably skipped class. He probably realized, oh, how can I get away with not getting a late ticket? So I want to wait. I'm not suspending judgment. I'm not judging this. I'm not judging Cruz until I see all of the facts and I let the judicial system do its job.
But it's going to be interesting.
It is, and I hope that his public defender moves it to Orange County or somewhere other than Florida because there is too much emotion.
Yeah,
in Fort Lauderdale, it's too already. It's everywhere in the news. You're not going to find jurors. Yeah, you're not going to find any jurors who haven't seen the news, who haven't been following the case, who haven't created their own judgments and their own biases towards him. So it would be wise of him and wise of her to move it to Orange County because listen, our state prosecutors here in Orange County, they screwed up with Casey Anthony. So I'm pretty sure.
They want to redeem themselves.
Yeah, and I think it's more fair. It's a fair trial. It'll be more fair. I can't say it'll be 100% fair, but it's going to be really interesting. And honestly, wanting to push the death penalty, that's a waste of taxpayer money.
Exactly.
It is. Call it a day. He did have mental illness. Everyone screwed up. I think I would like there to be a trial just so I would force every single person who knew he had a mental illness and decided to do nothing about it to testify.
And be on public record
Yes.
that they made a mistake.
I would love a trial just for that, but honestly, it's a waste of taxpayer money. It's a waste of time. You know he has a mental illness. Give him life in prison or give him life in a mental institute for the rest of his freaking life and call it a day. Because you're never going to get the death penalty. Ever.
Nope. I don't think he'll get the death penalty. It'll be a surprise if he does get the death penalty, and it'll be to me it'll be a miscarriage of justice because, like you said, we have to have that every individual that knew, the FBI agents that interviewed him, the sheriff's department, the police department, the counselors in the school, the people that knew that there was all that parade of information and data is going to come out in this case.
And fun fact, he didn't even use a bump stock. Yeah. He didn't use a bump stock. He had ammunition cases for 10 bullets.
Yeah.
That's about as much as he had. So banning bump stocks, they should have done that during the Pulse shooting.
Yep, they should have. Well, again, the Pulse shooting was a terrorist act.
But then why he still bought them in Florida? He's still on the FBI watch list. So then why didn't any of our elected officials do it then? Why didn't they ban bump stocks then?
Well, if we look at the different types of shootings, there has, and you showed it to me, there's been evidence of some of these suspects being in contact with the FBI or having been interviewed by law enforcement. So again, where has the ball been dropped with this case? Well, since he's a minor. Was a minor. We have to try it because he's 19. He killed 17 people. I keep on flipping that. The thing of it is that we need to be able to see where were the there were red flags. Why these red flags weren't followed? 1, 2. The Democrats we can't let the Democrats keep on here in Florida. We can't let the Democrats keep gnawing at our rights. I'm sorry. I believe in the First Amendment. I don't think that the age has to do anything. I don't think that the bump stocks will do anything. It's going to end up in the Supreme Court or in the Superior Court in Florida and be tied up for years because they're going to contest it. And it still won't save our children. You're right. We may have wussed out our children, but there has to be something that we could do to strengthen our schools, to make sure that these kids they like gore. I'm sorry, they like gore. We have to try and desensitize these children to be able to react in a positive way when there's a shooting or there's a situation or there's an emergency. Forget about a shooting, a fire, something that could knock them out of that dreamland. Because you're right, they're wussified. They I don't think they're going to even be the ones sent to a war. I do apologize. If we've learned anything from history, who did they send in Vietnam? It was underprivileged people that, because these people that were privileged, they're not going to be sent to the war.
That's another thing that I wanted to say. Thank God you brought that up. So what's convenient is these kids, they had a perfect life. They lived in a very wealthy, not a very wealthy, but a very nice, well-off area. And they thought, none of this is ever going to happen. We don't have crime here. We're all living well. Most of us are white. We're living dandy.
Yeah, they won awards.
Yep. And then all of a sudden something horrible happens and they don't know what to do. And unfortunately, I'm going to get a lot of heat for this. But the rhetoric needs to stop. I'm sorry. Parents crying, boo-hoo, Johnny died. It's horrible. I understand that your child died. But were you involved in your child's life? Were you involved in in PTAs? I'm sorry. If there was a kid that was that sketchy in my high school, my mom would have known about it. I would have been like, "Ma, there's this not right kid. He posts videos of him shooting animals. He posts himself that he's going to be a school shooter," and my mom would have been all over it. Well, but I bet you most of these students never told their parents.
Well, let's put it this way. Puerto Rico, that is so bad, so crime-ridden. Something like this have never happened in a school in Puerto Rico. You know why? Because Puerto Rican moms are there. They're even fathers. They're like, "Okay, my daughter's here. Well, you say what?" You know,
my dad was the president of my elementary school PTA when I was in second grade.
Mm-hmm.
He knew every single person. He knew all the drama. He knew that's Jimmy John, that's Nancy, whatever. He knew every single name. My mom was involved in everything in the school. She went to both my mom and my dad went to every school trip, every field trip, everything that they could possibly be involved in.
Mm-hmm.
And they knew if something was off. They knew if I was like, Mom, I'm not really
Mm-hmm.
feeling safe at school. They would have been like, no, and they would have done something. Instead, we have these parents who are now crying and they want change, yet where were their voices 5 years ago, 6 years ago? So I think
when they were alive, what was their position when they were alive?
and they didn't care. I would like to see how many of them voted in 2016. I would like to see that.
I would like to know if their lack of involvement. I don't know. There's a lot of questions this case is going to bring up to the air. What we want to do is we want to bring politicians into the show that can give us an answer on why do they think that infringing on our rights, our God-given rights via the Constitution of the United States to bear arms, why limiting law-abiding citizens will first make schools safer. That's false. Second, will avoid criminals from getting guns and committing crimes. That's false. Third, that they want to know everything and anything that law-abiding citizens want to do, but yet they don't know an iota of what a criminal's doing. Because believe me, if a criminal wants to do a criminal element, you said it, the mafia, gangs, if a criminal element wants to try and evolve a scheme, they will do it even if they're locked up in the hardest penitentiary in Florida.
The thing is, and my mom had a really good point with this, is we don't have an age limit on the First Amendment. We don't have an age limit on the Third Amendment, Fourth Amendment, Fifth Amendment. So the thing is why are we now putting an age, a stricter age on the Second Amendment? Why?
Because it's a reaction to a tragic occurrence, and that is what happens with the Democrats. They are reactionary, and they are reactionary to be able to control the masses, the legal masses, because again, I have not seen a Democrat. Look at California. California is in a hell of a mess. Has one of the highest crime rates.
California's disgusting.
I know. And you know what? You know, they've limited everything. There's businesses leaving left and right because of the crime rate, and the regulations are strangling California. So tell me anybody here in Florida who is a liberal Democrat. Val Demings, Stephanie Murphy, Darren Soto, the representative Democratic caucuses from Florida that are in Tallahassee. Tell me, come to the show, sit down in that chair right here across from Miguel Montes, and tell me what the hell are they going to do to make our schools safer? Not wussify our students, but to make them safe. Because, all right, we either strengthen the students, we strengthen the faculty, we strengthen the structures of the school, but we have to do something. Because it's like you said, it's too easy for a person to get comfortable coming in and out of the school, knowing the ins and outs, and boom, they have a shooting.
The problem is our high schools are too big. My high school was 4,000 students. Our freshman class was 1,800 students. My graduating class was 800 students. So high schools, it's hard to make it really strict and really safe because there are seniors who have jobs, who have break periods between first period. They go to first, second, third period, but then they don't have fourth or fifth period, but then they come back for sixth period. So we have these students who don't have periods until their third period, when then they finally have to come to class. So it makes it really difficult, and then we get into the fire hazards and do we keep the doors locked? What happens? So
yeah,
it's really hard. My thing is schools are way too big. And my mom and I tried to look. There was no mass shootings in private schools.
So those schools that had a lesser matriculi were able to control.
Because everyone knows who everyone is. You know if someone's acting odd. You know if someone is supposed to bring a bag or not. Like me, before I went to University High School, my 11th grade graduating class would have been 11 students. And I would have known, okay, that person's an athlete. They can bring a Nike bag. But that person is definitely not an athlete, and they're bringing a Nike bag and they're bringing a duffel bag in. That's a little weird. So honestly, 4,000 students, and some high schools are 8,000 students. That's ridiculous. And Orange County only has, I think, 8 or 12 high schools.
Yep.
It's ridiculous. We're creating these mega high schools where you can't keep track of
And I
anyone.
think two of them are going to merge. We're talking about close to 13,000 students.
It's ridiculous.
Yeah. In Osceola County, there's 2 of them that can merge.
It's ridiculous. Like, some students are designated to Colonial and University that live in Lee Vista, and some of them are designated in Lake Nono. Why don't we just have a Lee Vista High School? Because there's plenty of them.
Wow. Well, we're sure not going to drop off on the topic of the guns. We're going to have it for more shows, but we got a couple of minutes. Scotland, tell us the good news of a fundraiser that's going to be occurring at the end of March, right?
Yes.
Tell us where we could get tickets. What's going on?
So on Eventbrite, Gina Perez Calhoun, she's running for Orange County Commissioner in District 4. She's having her first fundraiser on March 29th at 7 p.m. I always mess up the cafe's name. Café
Mineiro.
There we go. At 7 p.m. The tickets are on Eventbrite for students, college, high school students. It's $25 per person with show of ID at the door, $35 for a single person, and $60 a couple. There is an Eventbrite fee. It's not that much money. You go on Eventbrite, you buy the ticket. It's all you can eat Brazilian food. It's worth it. It's awesome. You all should do it. Support Gina. She is the only constitutional conservative in the race. We need to keep conservatives in Orange County, otherwise we are going to lose it. So
I'll be there playing the music, so come and support us.
And there'll be karaoke and dancing.
Yeah, there'll be karaoke and dancing. So we're going to sing and have people sing, and who knows, probably we'll have a couple of talents donate their talents to Gina's cause. So it's March 29th, right?
Yes, at 7
Café
p.m.
Mineiro in Florida Mall. Go to Eventbrite and look up Gina Calhoun or Gina Perez.
Meet Gina Perez Calhoun.
Meet Gina Perez Calhoun and look it up in Eventbrite. And we're going to be talking about it a lot more in the next couple of shows. But
even if you can't come, still buy a ticket. It's a donation to Gina. So if you can't physically make it, you can still buy a ticket. It still contributes to your campaign because campaigns take money. In order to spread her word, we need money.
Exactly.
So campaigns are not free. So buy a ticket even if you can't come. It'll really help out, and we need all the support we can get.
And also remind the people, where are they meeting or joining up? So for the walks are you walking on Saturdays and Sundays, or there's other days?
We walk almost every day. So
okay.
Saturdays we walk from 2:30 p.m. till sundown, and same with Sundays because that's when the most people are home. And we go from, sometimes we're in Avalon. Right now we're focusing on Avalon and Lee Vista. Okay. But on Sundays we're focusing on Hunters Creek, Econ, Waterford Lakes.
So Monday sometimes you guys walk?
We walk Mondays, Tuesdays, Wednesdays, Thursdays, Fridays.
Good. Because I did have a car problem this Saturday, and I said I was going to go. So I'm sorry, Gina. But we're going to see if we could do something for a Monday or next. We're moving too, so the weekends may be a little tight. So we'll try. So you guys are walking Avalon and Lee Vista?
Avalon, Hunters Creek, Lee Vista, Waterford Lakes.
So where do you guys to contact Gina to be able to get to the contact place where your people are going to?
You can go on her website, and there's a contact us where you send us your full name, your email address with a little message, and you can say location for the Saturday, and we'll send you a location. We'll get you on our email list and our texting list, so you can have all the locations. We pick a Publix or a gas station that's nearby the walking area, so it's really close by. You just hop into someone's car and you go.
And what's that website?
electginafl.com.
All right, well, folks, we got 2 minutes out. This is another show in the book. Este es otro show de tu programa que ha sido nominado y fue ganador de los Sacro Imperio Awards. Scotland, anything else that you want to say before we go?
Nothing. Just follow me on Instagram, Scotland Calhoun.
La muy bella Scotland Calhoun. Follow her on Twitter and Instagram and Facebook. Muy bella y ponderada. She has an opinion. She's always right there. But you know what? That's why we love her here in the show, Listen to Me. And that's why she's been a very good addition to the show, Listen to Me. The award-winning, I'm JJ Rodriguez. Acuérdate, hay que vivir motivado, enchulado de la vida, porque si no estás motivado y enchulado de la vida, it is not worth being there. So, life is a gift. Live it, love it, and I'll see you next Tuesday. Listen to me.
Bohemia 2, marzo 16. Las puertas abren a las 8 p.m. y el show comienza a las 8:30. Entradas $15 en la puerta y por Eventbrite $10.